Hey everyone, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another workshop for this week. This is week 16. All right, so just a few reminders to make sure that everything is all set. I would like to request everyone to please turn on your cameras. All right, so attendance points will only go to those who are visible to the facilitators. And if you are experiencing any tech issues or in the middle of any school commitments, please make sure to message YC staff Chris. So she's the one who is recording our attendance. Remember that no participation equals no points. And also, please make sure also to update your Zoom display name. Make sure that you're using your full name so that we can track the attendance correctly. If you're an alumni, please put alumni before your name. And if you're a student leader, please put SL before your name. So I think that's about it for the reminders. I am passing it over to Tauren. Thank you.
Thank you, Basha, and thank you, YC staff. Thank you, everyone, for being prompt and on time. Welcome, welcome. Let's go ahead and get that slide, get the PowerPoint up. Thank you. And today we're going to be talking about problem solving. Let's go to the next slide and just do a little recap on last week. So last week, Dr. Day talked to us about taxes. Who wants to take a go at this and maybe mention something that stood out to you from last week? Let me get one hand. Let's get warmed up here. All right, Anthony, come on in.
All right, so boom. Taxes are something that we pay for the government in order for them to fund public institutions like roads, schools, and hospitals.
Brilliant, brilliant. So we understood what taxes were, why we paid them, and how they supported essential public services. Thank you, Anthony. Can I get another hand for bullet number 2 and tell me what you got from it? Bullet number 2. All right, thank you, Francisco. Come on in.
One of the main types of taxes was property tax, and it contributed to the government by like supplying what was it? Like just basically supplying money to like your local government. That's it.
Brilliant. I love that. Explain the types of taxes. That's awesome. Thank you, Francisco, for participating. And then one more. Who wants to come in and get some free early points? Edith, good to see you. Come on in.
Learning the basics of filing taxes include reading a paycheck, understanding deductions, and how tax refunds or payments were calculated.
Okay. And do you remember what Dr. Day shared with us about her taxes? That's okay. That's okay. Oh, go ahead. What were you going to say?
I don't.
Okay, that's okay. That's all right. We'll come back to it. We'll do a review later. Thank you all for participating so early. Thanks, Edith. Let's go to the next slide. And I believe there was a poll there. Okay, so today we're going to get into problem solving, right? So we're going to explore how structured problem solving builds stronger critical thinking skills, particularly because we want you all to be strong critical thinking and decision makers, right? So you're going to learn six-step problem solving circle. And a bunch of other tools to be able to make problems more manageable. Sometimes you'll have like a large challenge and it can be overwhelming or daunting, but sometimes breaking it down into small pieces makes it a little bit more actionable. So the 3 bullets, we're going to learn and apply the six-step problem solving circle to define issues clearly. Always want to start with the definition. I'm somebody who likes to rush in and start solving, then go back later and realize, oh, shoot, I got to start from the beginning because I may not have solved the right problem here. Use the 5 whys technique. We'll talk about that quite a bit today to identify the root cause of problems, moving beyond surface level symptoms. And then we're going to strengthen critical thinking by developing a growth mindset. And I see you guys working on this poll here. I'll give you like another couple minutes for this. And as you're doing the poll, I want you to start thinking as you share in breakout rooms. I want you to think of some challenges you face, whether it's at school, sports, or anything that you can think of, long-term planning for prepping for college, etc., that you can share with your colleagues when we go into with your colleagues with your cohort mates when we go into breakout rooms here. All right. Let's see. I'll wait I think we've got everybody in here. All right. I want to hear from one person here. There's when you face a problem, what's your first instinct? And somebody says ignore it and hope it goes away. Who is that brave soul? And can you raise your hand? Eli, was that you? Or was it Nayeli? Who was that? Who's ignoring problems out here? That's okay. We'll keep it moving. Which step do you think people skip most often? And as I was saying, yeah, it's defining the issue clearly. You hit the nail on the head. Um, Also testing different options. The thing is really slowing down and taking your time with problems is a good way to get through it. But sometimes, you just kind of we react, and you want to react and get into action when you didn't take the time to stop and get to know it. So thank you so much. A couple people. Let's see, writing out the plans. I like that. Think about what caused it. A few people ask for advice. I don't like asking for help either, but it's something that's smart to do. Okay, let's go to the next slide, please. All right. Here are how we build critical thinking skills. So we've got the 5 buckets. 6, excuse me. So we've got defining the issue, right? So clearly identify the problem, distinguish between symptoms or surface level issues, right? So not just putting a bandage on thing, and the actual root cause. You want to develop options for yourself. So you want to brainstorm possible solutions without judging them, right? Gather as many ideas as possible. So what I like to think about is the whiteboard, right? Just put everything on it and then slowly eliminate things that don't work. But you want to test everything. There's no bad ideas in the beginning. And that goes to the next step, which is analyze the feasibility, pros, cons of each option, likely outcomes. And then if you have access to any data of it, like what can help predict success. And then you pick the option, choose a solution that best addresses the problem after you've reviewed it. And that time it's time to move forward. So the next step is with planning. And then after that, there's the execution phase. So put the plan into action and constantly monitor progress and adjust as needed. That's an important part because sometimes we come up with a plan and we're not paying attention and we get married to the plan, right? We're not paying attention to as whether or not it's working. We're just doing the thing. You want to think of it more as what we call iterative, right? It's something that you test, you rework, you test again, you rework. You're constantly revisiting earlier steps if the solution doesn't work as expected, right? No one solution fits all. Um, so I'd like you all to think of an example of that, right? One of them is, if you're somebody struggling with being late to school, something to think through is what is the root cause of that? There's just something to come to mind. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, we are at the workbook question. So we're going to go into our breakout rooms here. So I want you guys to all really work on thinking about real life examples so we can maybe help a cohort member solve a problem or just have a great example. And then we're going to share that in the larger group. And the question being, which step do you think people tend to skip most often and why? I think we discussed it in the poll. So you'll have 5 minutes here. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay.
Welcome back, everyone.
All right. Welcome back, everyone. I heard some great discussion. So let's see those hands raised and share out with the larger group. Which step do you think people tend to skip most often and why? I had some great answers. All right. Brilliant. Brilliant. All right. Eli, go ahead and go first.
What me and like someone else in my group were talking about is like sometimes like the hardest step and the step we skip is actually executing the plan. Like for me, sometimes I think it's just like the anxiety. Like I just try to focus on making the perfect plan and I could just focus on
Oh,
planning,
yeah.
planning and thinking of all the perfect solutions. But then when it comes to actually like executing it, like I never get around to doing it. So, yeah.
Oh, that's so real. Thank you, Eli. It's like that analysis paralysis, right? I got to get it right, got to get it right, and then you never get started. Thank you for sharing that. I can relate to that one. Come on in, Francisco.
So for me, a step I think people tend to skip most often is the test options or any ways that can help solve like the issue because when people are facing an issue, they think immediately like it's rapid fire, like they have no time to think or they have to find immediately like the first solution that they can think of. And that causes them to overlook or overthink any other possible solutions that could help execute the plan or solve the issue.
Yeah, that's super helpful. Can you give me an example of a problem you've had recently where you had to like what does testing options look like for you if you were going to say these are the best practices?
For me, I'll have to say like an English test because for an English test we have like a time limit to answer like multiple choice questions. But right before like we're about to answer the question, we let's say the teacher says we have like 5 minutes remaining or 2 minutes remaining, it there arises already an issue on what's the best answer to like answer the question. So what the student will do is immediately read quickly or just immediately guess what the answer is based on their knowledge instead of actually continuing to act slowly and actually figure out what other options that they have.
Right. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. Sometimes that clock crunch is tough. You got to just take a breath. Thank you, Francisco. Come on in, Alejandra.
So I had a really good response with my group where he discussed saying that and that the because most of us were saying that the issue was executing the plan, but he was talking about defining the plan or defining the issue, sorry, and how people usually blame it on something else rather than addressing the real cause of their issues. He used this really good example of being overweight, and instead of like someone like thinking, okay, yeah, I'm eating out a lot more, eating like unhealthy food, I'm gonna cut that. They go, okay, I need to lose weight now and focus on something else that doesn't really address the true issue that they have.
Oh, that's a good one, man. Yeah, because there's multiple steps in that problem, and we're gonna get to an actual process on that. So I'm glad you brought that up as an example. I appreciate you. All right, Amy, thank you for raising your hand. Come on in.
Um, I was gonna say a lot of my group also did talk about like executing the plan, but we
Hmm.
also had some that talked about writing out the plan. And I think like it was kind of like in agreement a little bit about like wanting to rush and get to the answer so bad, you kind of like leave out specifics or you kind of, don't do it as maybe well as you should do it. And I think like that it becomes like difficult when you try to get the answer, but you're missing so many little parts to it.
Oh yeah, no, that's a great example. I don't know if anybody's had this experience where you kind of read the question and you get into it and you go, I've got the perfect answer and you've answered it, and then you go back and realize you didn't actually read the full question. You only answered a piece of it and you lose points that way. That's the worst. Taking your time is important. Come on in, Angelina.
Yeah, so mine would probably be like writing out the plan. I feel like sometimes like when we have like a problem that we have to fix, we tend to like put it to the side and be like, oh, it's gonna resolve itself. Like I'll get there when I get there. But we don't actually take the time to be like, okay, like how am I gonna like solve it and like actually coming up with like a plan to like get over the problem.
Okay. All right, Angelina, stay right there. So let's talk about it. What problem do you have coming up or something that you're trying to solve that we're working on a plan towards?
I feel like right now it would be my physics grade.
Okay.
Because I've been like struggling and like I have to like catch up on some work. And I think like I should be coming up with a plan and being like, okay, let me go in during lunch and retake like the tests that like I missed because I sometimes I have to miss because of sports or like field trips. Um, and I think I haven't really been like following up with that plan, like actually saying, let me talk to the teacher, find out when like she's available and when I'm available to try to like remake the assignments that I haven't like turned in and like the tests. And I feel like I've been avoiding that like so much because then I'll think about it and I'll be like, oh, I could just catch up during class. But like in reality, like the class keeps on going.
I see. So we're gonna do that tonight or tomorrow morning. You have two options, tonight or tomorrow.
Yes. So tomorrow I spoke to the teacher and like I told her tomorrow I'm taking the test. Like
I
at
can't wait.
something, yeah.
Awesome. I'm gonna check in with you next week. I look forward to hearing about it. Okay, come on in, Catherine.
My group also mentioned writing out a plan. Someone pointed out, which I found like that stood out to me, was that when you face a problem, your first immediate thought isn't to just write it out. Usually you just think of solutions. And I think
Hmm.
oftentimes people just want to rush and jump into solving it instead of writing it all out and thinking clearly.
Absolutely. Because I was thinking about this, like the problem creates a little bit of anxiety and you want that to go away. And the first thing to fix that is to get into a solution instead of pausing. So that seems to be a big one. Did you guys talk about any ways that you could maybe like tell yourself, okay, if I know I really want to get into solving, how do I stop for a beat and get to the plan first? Or are you just kind of sharing before that?
I think we're kind of sharing, but I think personally, like maybe a way to calm down is maybe to think of your past experiences
Oh,
and how
that's a good
you
one.
solve and how you solved your problems, and maybe to think about your successes to calm you down.
Awesome. Thank you for that piece of advice. Appreciate that, Catherine. Okay, Natalia, come on in.
I think that a step that people tend to skip most often is probably defining the issue. More because like you're trying to figure out what's going on, you're planning already what you're going to do, which could be good solutions, but if this keeps happening, if you don't know what the cause or the root of the problem is, there's no point in like keeping fixing it if it'll still keep coming.
Right.
Like there's no point in that. You just like, get the root so this I think stops happening.
No, that's a great one because again, you're just keeping putting bandages and more duct tape and stuff, and the, the thing isn't solved. It's going to burst again anyway. I appreciate that, Natalia, and I really appreciate all the participation tonight. Let's keep going. Let's go ahead and move on to the next slide, please. All right, so this gets into defining, like getting to the root cause of the problem. So the problem being, I failed my math test, and then we're going to go through the five whys. So let's go ahead and the why. First one is, oh, let me take a step back and say it to you all. You want to go through this process yourself before somebody else goes through it with you, right? So, for example, Angelina talking about catching up with school, if she can get to the root cause as to why she's behind or whatever the problem, getting that grade up so that she can come with a solution to the teacher is the best way to approach it because now you're collaborating on the solution as you are right now, as opposed to, somebody coming up to you and saying like, why are you late to school all the time, right? You want to have this process gone through. And the background behind this process is, Japan post World War II was decimated after the atomic bomb, and a lot of their factory manufacturing was way behind the rest of the world. So the model that they took was every single worker within a factory was able to give feedback on a process and was able to speak up to management directly on something that they saw as wrong, like solution not working, right? And so what management really wanted was to get the solutions from the actual assembly line versus like people at the top just making up solutions. And so what each employee was tasked with was just go through the five whys so that you can explain exactly what we need to fix and not just saying like it's this breaker, so let's just get a new breaker. It's like we have a surge in energy, etc. So that's what's going on here, and it's a process that we can apply to our own lives. All right, so the why is I didn't study. Why didn't you study? What's the answer there? I didn't schedule study time. So you ask yourself, why didn't you schedule study time? What is the answer there? I didn't use my planner effectively. Then you ask yourself, why again? Why didn't you use your planner? I haven't been consistent in using a planner. And why haven't you been consistent in using a planner? I don't have a habit of planning ahead. And there you go. There's the root cause, right? So all of that started with I failed my math test. Solution is all the way at that bottom why I don't have a habit of planning ahead. And it can go like the five isn't strict. Like if at this stage you feel like we're still a little vague, you can ask two more whys, or maybe at the third or fourth why you've already gotten to it. But the point is to flesh out beyond that first two whys to really get into like something that's sustainable long term, not just something that goes, I need to fix failed math tests. It's like, no, this is a larger issue around planning that we need to address. And this is a good way and a process that you can do by yourself, right? You don't have to wait for a teacher, your family member, somebody to call you out you don't have to wait to be in trouble. Let's say you start seeing something like, I keep missing this thing. Let me go through this list and say, how do I get myself out of it? Right. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. All right, which brings us to a workbook question. So I think we have some problems. We had some great conversation. Let's go ahead and take that and apply it to some of the things we talked about earlier, right? So think of a problem you faced recently. What might have happened if you stopped at the first why versus going deeper? And if you can, try to be vulnerable and be specific about, problems in your life that you might want to address, or maybe even like future thinking, like, okay, so I haven't started something, a goal of mine that I'd like to get to, and then just go through the whys. All right, so we'll have another 5 minutes here in breakout rooms, and then we're going to share out together again. You guys are doing great tonight. I appreciate you.
Tauren, would you like to give them maybe 1 minute to think about their answers before sending them to the breakout rooms?
That's a brilliant idea. See, Basha
All right.
coming in.
Okay.
We're going to do 1 minute, and then we'll go into the breakout rooms. Thank you, Basha. And for your thoughts, we can practice writing it out so you're ready to go to share. I'm excited to hear what you guys come up with.
All right. Well, I'm sending it to the breakout rooms now. Thank you. Welcome back.
All right, welcome back, everyone. And once again, I heard some really, really wonderful answers. So let's get those hands up and start sharing out. All right, let's start with Amy. Go ahead, Amy.
For a lot of my group, it had to basically do with like time management, procrastination. I saw like a big focus, like on like not getting assignments done and just having a lot of things on their plate. And I guess like the first why for them was basically like being like what you said, like, oh, like I just didn't have time. And then them like breaking that down on like why they didn't have time, offer like I guess different reasons and different circumstances.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean the dangerous part is the time leaks. So if you actually ask yourself the question, you start to see like, well, I did have time. I just did 15 minutes of TikTok here, a little thing. So it might just be 5, 10 minutes here, but that adds up. What did something for you is procrastination one of yours as well, Amy?
Yeah.
It is? Okay.
Yeah.
What did you get to with the root cause? Did you get that far?
Um, for my root cause, it's because I don't like I really like did not enjoy like my readings that I had to do.
Yeah.
It was like so like I'd procrastinate on it. I didn't like it, I didn't enjoy it, and so I would just do something else. I'd find anything else to do. And, and yeah, that was like if I'm being honest, that's like my main problem.
Yeah, no, thank you for being honest. It's hard because I mean, I was gonna tell you guys that a lot of procrastination is really just emotion management, right? You get that feeling, I don't want to do this thing. But as we talked about earlier in the semester, if you can get to a point where it's not easy, but just yell at yourself, like eat the frog. So the frog is the thing that you want to do least. For you, it's that task, right? It's like that's the first thing you should do while energy is high. But again, easier said than done, but that's why we're here. We're gonna practice. Okay, Eli, come on in. Thank you, Amy.
Well, we're in the same breakout room, and yeah, it's just like picking off on that. Like, I
hmm
guess for my specific example, it's like, I said like a problem I face often is feeling stressed about completing assignments on time. And like at the first why, I would just probably say like, oh, I'm stressed because I have a lot of homework. Like, it's the class, it's the homework. But
hmm
like lately, I've been digging deeper, and I realized that like on top of procrastination, I have a bad habit of like saying yes to everyone and putting too much on my plate because like I'm in a lot
Uh-huh.
of extracurriculars, and so I think I realized like the real issue is just my time management and making sure I have like time for all of like my different outside commitments, and that it's like not really the homework itself that's the issue in the class. It's more like me having to figure out my time.
Yeah, no, thanks, Eli. And we appreciate having you this semester. Last semester, maybe one of your peers can tell you about, we did a whole session on time management. And one of the things that I'm hearing from you is prioritization is important, right? So like it's great to be involved in a lot of things, but if everything is important, then nothing is important, right? It means you're doing nothing well.
Yeah.
And so just sort of like figuring out at what time, what's the most important thing and just locking in there. So like right now for you, what's the most important thing, Eli?
Well, like currently, definitely my AP stats homework. I've been really procrastinating in that class, pushing it behind. He actually like talked to my mom today because he was like, "Yo, your kid's not turning in homework," and I was like, "Dang it." So yeah,
So
I
what do
have
we
to.
do right now? AP Stats is the only thing that exists in the world, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it should be, but yeah, I have like a lot of other stuff I still have to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, but just remember, you can't do three things at once. So you just pick one and then just go, this is the only thing that exists until I get to the next. But you
Yes.
got this. I believe in you. We're gonna check in next week. Okay, Andrew Primo, come on in.
Oh, okay. So a problem I faced recently was my phone was about to die, like way faster like than usual, and it was during the Youth Champions Finance Park. And the first one was like, which made me wonder, was like, why is it dying so fast? Then like going through deeper, I found out that my phone had a ton of apps open, and that's why like my battery was draining. It was draining so much faster than usual.
Oh, that's great. So you go, the battery's not the problem, it's my app management. Okay. That's great. That's great. All right, come on in, Alejandra.
For me, I was simply just going through my financial aid package from a school that I got into, and I was checking like what exactly I had to pay for it. Because originally I just saw 2,000 and I was like, okay, great, that's all I have to pay. But then I was like, okay, why am I paying this? And I started digging deeper into it and realized that I would have to pay for traveling expenses as well as the tuition itself, while my housing was a little too expensive. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go and talk to them because traveling expenses are really hard for my family and I. So now I am planning to talk to the financial aid counselor so that I can get that issue solved. And if I stuck to my first like why and just didn't do any deeper, I would have just probably been paying 2K and not really understand where it's going to.
That's brilliant. This is a perfect example for that surface level answer. Why would you have stayed at the surface level answer?
I think for me, it's just the like fear of like having this opportunity slip by me and like possibly upsetting them for because I'm like in my head I was like am I too like pushy for asking them to compensate me in some way or help me out, and I think that whole mindset would have like made me stay where exactly where I was a few days ago and been okay with paying the the extra money, even though I didn't really understand how it worked.
What do we call that zone that's dangerous? Remember the comfort zone? That would
Yeah.
have felt comfortable, like real comfortable. Just say, like, okay, they told me I'm done, right? But you see, you actually got a better outcome by doing the harder thing. I love that's a great example. Thank you. Anybody else want to jump in and share? Let's get one more. We got some good stuff here today. All right, Heaven, come on in.
Okay. So the problem I have faced recently. So she's in here.
Is this Sophia?
Yes. Oh my God. How did you know?
Because listen, you're right next to each other on my screen, and I see you keying over there. What's going on?
Oh.
Come on.
Okay. So the problem I have faced is okay. So we're both in the basketball team, and I tend to not like go up for rebounds.
Okay.
Right. And I've always asked myself, why does Sophia always get the rebounds before me when I'm literally taller than her? But I guess it doesn't matter. So I always ask myself why. And then I understood that, what's it called? Sophia, I don't know, somehow, some way, she would always be at the right spot where the ball's at. So I was talking to my coach, and he was just like, maybe it's because I'm way too under the rim, and she's like out. Like, she knows when to get it, and I don't. I just look at the ball, and then when it finally touches somebody, I try to get it. So it's like I have a slow, like time span. I don't know.
Yeah. So the problem is not getting rebounds. Root cause is placement, right? It's not that Sophia's not your problem. The problem is where you're putting yourself, right? Sophia's got a nose for the ball, so she's fine. You got to deal with you. And we'll get there. Thank you for sharing, Heaven. Okay, let's go on to the next slide, please. All right, building critical thinking skills. Okay, so we're going to read through these. Can I get a volunteer here? Or actually, I'm going to read these so give you more time in the breakout room. So, old solutions don't always work for new problems. Yeah, I wanted to mention this earlier. Sometimes you'll get this in group settings. Sometimes where somebody has like attachment to a solution, and that's ego based. You want to remove your ego from a specific solution because you're going to keep trying to put it on problems that it doesn't apply to. People do not need to fix an entire problem all at once. Break it down, make it digestible, and creativity grows when people explore many options before deciding. If you can change your mindset to say, okay, I've got this problem, it's actually an opportunity to pause, breathe. Remember, get your emotional management okay so you can think clearly, and see it's an opportunity to create a new system to solve something that had challenged you. And actually make it like a strong point, because I've seen people with solutions that actually make their life better than how they were originally operating. Let's go ahead to the next slide. All right, how could you break it down? Oh, this is great. So I want you to go a little further with this one, and we're going to take a minute before we go into, actually, no, we're going to do this one together. I want you to take a minute with this one and go a little bit further than the examples where we've heard that think about a problem that you could read that's a little bit more complex, right? That might have multiple pieces. How would you break it down? Think of something that you'll know it's a complex problem because you'll feel like you'll get that avoidant feeling. You don't want to deal with it. I want you to pick one of those problems and just think through maybe some small steps that you could break it down into. And if you're feeling brave enough, we'd love to hear about it. So let's go ahead and let's take about 2 minutes and get the music going and think through your answers. Thank you. All right. I put some follow-up bullets in there if you need some more food for thought to help you think about these problems. One of the things in there is how can collaboration help spark new solutions you wouldn't think of alone? And on that note, if you want to be really brave, maybe bring your problem to the group and maybe we can help think through some solutions with you in real time. All right, who wants to go first? All right, Sakura, come on in.
So one challenge that I've faced recently is that I've actually been trying to like write like a short story, but
Yeah.
I've been procrastinating a lot on that because it's just kind of like a daunting task. And I think like some ways I can maybe break it down, like the problem to smaller pieces. The problem of like procrastinating and feeling like it's a bigger thing is just finding smaller ways to work on it that that don't have to involve like writing a whole paragraph, like maybe like just writing like a sentence or like spending like 10 minutes or even just like thinking about the next step without needing to write it. um but it's still kind of like hard to like focus on that with other stuff going on, but that's definitely like a challenge that I could try to like break down into smaller pieces.
Okay, so stay right there, Sakura, because I do remember it sounds like you're testing solutions because you did bring up writing before in another session, right? And I think at that point you had said you're going to just write a little bit over time. Am I correct? Am I remembering that? All right. And then so that was the first solution, and that it seems like that's not sticking, right?
Yeah, no, because it's hard to figure out when is a good time because it's
Yeah,
easy to say like, oh, I'm gonna do like the 10 minutes,
right.
but it's not really know like when is the actual best time to write it.
Are you looking for, and these are just questions, so are you looking for like the perfect time, or do you ever just go, I have 15 minutes right now, stop thinking, just knock something out?
Yeah, I don't know because like I know like schedules change like throughout different days, so I'll be
Yeah.
kind of just like figuring out even just within the day what is a good time that I know that I'm free for today that I can handle that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. We'll keep an eye on that one. Thank you so much for sharing, Sakura. I appreciate you. Francisco, come on in.
One challenge I've been facing recently is I can't sleep. Like it's just I've been struggling to sleep. I don't know why. As you know, I guess like some ways I could break it down is just seeing like why I can't sleep. I don't know. Maybe it's like my phone, just thinking too much. But yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I think you might have answered it. What's your phone hygiene late at night? Is that the last thing you do before bed?
Uh, yeah, I guess so. Cause I'm looking like emails and like not emails, but like my social media and like checking
Uh,
stuff and all that.
Because I was gonna say, I heard you in the room saying you work out, so it's like you're making yourself tired, you're doing healthy stuff. I assume you're eating well for sports, so it might just be, can you leave? And that's a big can. Can you put the phone in a drawer when it's time to go to bed? I don't know. I struggle with that too. But we can test it. Do you want to test it for a week and let me know next week?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, let's do it. This time next week, I want to see how it's going. All right, Angelina, come on in.
Hi, so I think a challenge I've been facing recently is like managing like being with my family, like and spending time with them, but also like catching up with my schoolwork because I feel like I have so many activities. And then by the time I get like home, like right now, like I'll probably start homework like at 7:30, but then like it's like so much, and then I also feel like I don't even like spend that much time like talking with my family and like asking how their day went because like I have so much stuff. And then like I've also been trying to like meal prep in the nights, and then like I also try to like pray, and then so all of that like takes part, and then I have to wake up early in the morning because I have an extra period in the morning and I like struggle to wake up too.
Ooh. Well, first, let's take a breath and let's all celebrate you because you are carrying a lot. I'm gonna throw a panda at you. Let me find my panda. Where's my panda at? There we go. Have you thought about like so sometimes because I would say like in adulthood it's very similar trying to balance all these priorities and like I know you want to check in with folks daily, you want to do stuff daily, but it might just be, okay, catch up with family time is maybe 1 day a week. And the rest is just kind of, well, let me think through with you. How is your schedule management for your priorities outside of school? Do you have that written down somewhere and like time
Um,
associated?
like outside, like excluding my classes
Yeah,
or
so like do you have family time written down somewhere like 15 minutes or like are you like can you get that intentional about it? Have you written that down?
no, but usually like when I get home, like and while I'm eating, like that's like kind of the only time like I'll have like a little bit. But
Okay.
then like after that, that's when I'm like, okay, like I have to shower and then I
Gotta
have to
get to work.
like
Yeah.
do my work. Yeah.
I mean, it sounds annoying, but I know people who like literally you got to write down every minute when you're that busy. But yeah, but that is the example of a very complex one that you're gonna have to, again, there's no one solution. You're just gonna have to try stuff and keep iterating and see what works, get rid of what doesn't. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Come on in, Alejandra.
Hi. So what I've realized is that an issue that I definitely have is withdrawing, mostly because I'm trying to squeeze it in as much as I can throughout my week. So at least I'm not doing like, something else with my phone, just zoning out, not really like doing anything productive, whilst getting in a really good skill and like perfecting it. But recently I've been kind of off schedule, kind like drifting away from drawing. Instead, I've been playing Roblox a lot, a lot more than I would like to say, which is kind of taking over my priorities and also, of course, drawing, which I want to practice a lot more since as I go to college, I'm not going to have enough time to do art as much as I want to. And I feel like if I broke it down, I think what I need to do is probably provide myself a time schedule and also cut down on using my phone and playing other games and instead try to see if I could get more satisfaction with what I'm drawing since I know for me I need to draw something really fun in order for me to enjoy it, something that I like rather than something that's for studying.
I see. So you got into college and started slacking off. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I have a question for you, Alejandra. Do you remember you had the time blocked off to write on to work on your college applications, right? Now you don't have that anymore. What did you do with that space?
I think with that space, what really filled it in was playing Roblox
There
and
you go. There's your
also
answer. We solved it, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Alejandra. Finish.
sorry. And also school started after like I submitted all my college applications, so I had the added like work to also do on time, which takes a bit of my schedule.
Okay.
And because of that, my brain just automatically wants to do something that's kind of fun and quick.
The dopamine hit. Yeah. No, I hear you. We all struggle with that. Thank you for sharing, Alejandra. Edith, you want to come in real quick? I saw your hand up earlier. Edith, you there?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
it's because I don't know if we're gonna run out of time or not. So I put my hand down.
No, go for it.
So a challenge that I have recently faced was making sure that I turn in my assignments on time because I have like a bunch of assignments, like 1,000 different due dates. So sometimes I forget to turn some of them in, so then they're marked late. So I actually like to plan, like I should plan better to make sure I turn in everything on time.
Okay. So you're going to come up with a plan for that and tell us about it next week?
Yeah.
All right. I love it. All right. Thank you all so much for participating. I appreciate you. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide. And just so you know, there are some of you who haven't participated yet this semester. Please jump in. This is a safe space. We'd love to hear from you. And your classmates would love to hear from you as well. Okay, so now we're going to talk about next class, becoming your own decision architect. I love that. Thinking for yourself. We got critical thinking skills and self-authorship. Explore how our surroundings and subtle cues influence daily decisions, right? Like your phone telling you, hey, come check me, come check me, come check me. Learn how nudging works and practice designing positive nudges to support your goals. And then by understanding the influences, what's silently nudging you to work against your priorities, you'll gain the awareness to make intentional choices and shape better outcomes. All right, let's go to the next slide. All right, I'm going to give you some time here to work on anything you may have missed on your workbook, and then we'll get into some announcements. So let's go ahead and take this time and finish up. All right, welcome back. Now it's time for some announcements. So, workbook and survey form close this Friday at 5. Just remember to fill those out. Do not miss your points. That's the whole reason why we're here. Get those points. All right. And then for the Ignite Speaker series, speaker has not been announced, but the next date of the Ignite will be March 2nd, and the RSVP deadline is February 27th, and that's going to be in the chat box there. And that'll be 2 points as well. We'll let you know as soon as we have the speaker. And then the student leader forum, that's still open. For those who aren't a student leader from last semester, please know that the student leader forum is still open. We'd love to have you help encourage your classmates through our breakout rooms, etc. This is your chance to step up, shine, and make an impact. Lead small groups in person, support classmates, and keep the energy alive in workshops and events, and be a voice and share your story, inspire others, just like you all inspire me. The deadline for that is going to be February 12th, right? So that's going to be Thursday at 5 p.m., and that's going to be in the chat box below. So thank you all so much. Let's get those pandas going. And that's it from me tonight. I'm going to pass it back over to the YC staff.
All right. Thank you so much, Tauren, for that insightful workshop for today. And some additional announcement, our student guide website is open. If you want to be updated with all the announcements, program information, you can go there. The link is in the chat. And also, student help form is open. We address concerns from Mondays to Fridays. The link is also in the chat. So if you have any questions or concerns, you can go there. So I think that's about it for today. Again, thank you
One
guys
last
so
plug.
much.
One last
Oh,
plug.
sure.
We only had 24% attendance at the last field trip, so there's 30 of you who didn't go last time. Please come this time. Your classmates would love to see you. We'd love to meet you as well and hear from you in person. So if you can, go ahead and RSVP to our live events. We look forward to hosting you.
All right. Thank you so much, Tauren. Guys, if you have any questions, you can stay in the meeting so that we can answer your questions. And for the rest of you, may you have a good night. And please don't forget to leave your emojis before you go. Thank you.